Hollow Knight is an indie game with a cult following. Between the adorable main character, bosses that made me question if I wanted to even keep playing video games, and the phenomenal music, this game had everything I could ever want in a video game. And the difficulty rating didn't scare me off too bad because, well, I'm a god tier gamer. How hard could it be? This 100% achievement run will take place in 3 parts. The first part, achieve 112% completion on my first save file and as many achievements as I can. Second, the Pantheons of HollowNest. This is Hollow Knight's boss rush mode. There are 5 total, with the 5th one being the hardest boss rush I've ever done. Last but not least, we'll wrap up our deathless 100% completion achievements, which includes a 5-hour completion without dying and a 20-hour 100% without dying. After dropping down the well in Dirtmouth, the game begins in our first area. In our wandering, we stumbled upon Cornifer the Mapmaker.
Would you like to buy a copy of my work so far? Yes, please. You can't see where you are without a specific charm. Gotta instead use your massive heaping brain. I don't have that.
Speaking of my massive heaping brain, we unlocked our first stag station. This is the Hollow Knight version of fast travel to get to places.
That's dope. Hi, Mr. Ant. That's a beetle, bruh.
I'm not an entomologist. Sue me. Next, we accidentally stumbled upon our first boss.
False Knight. Ooh, okay, dodge that. And dodge that. Ah, under, Primal, under. Too slow. Come on, Primal.
After a handful of tries, we took him down and popped our first achievement of the playthrough.
Falsehood.
After that, we went back to Dirtmouth and bought Wayward Compass, leading to the Charmed achievement. Charms are the equipment in this game and can increase damage from spells, attacks, or grant you special abilities. After getting our first spell, Vengeful Spirit, from this creepy guy, we are ready to seek out our second boss of the playthrough. While searching for our second boss, we stumbled upon this poor little guy who needed saving. I was just trying to be a helpful guy, but little did I know that this would be one of the worst mistakes in my entire life. More on that in phase 2. The second boss we came to is Hornet. Her boss fight is much more fast-paced than False Knight was, as she dashes around the map and throws her needle at you. But after a couple of tries, we took her down and we moved on. After defeating Hornet, we made our way to the Mantis Lords, which, might I say, is my favorite boss fight in the game. Something about this fight just makes you feel like an orchestra director when you get multiple bosses lunging at you in tune with the music.
No! Why'd I go backwards? Come on, Primal! Primal, you're better than this!
After a few tries and a lot of screaming,
alright, we got it now, chat.
We took this one down too.
Golly. We made it. Respect.
One of the most challenging parts of Hollow Knight is the platforming challenges. Team Cherry was obsessed with including them everywhere in this game. And I'm not good at platforming. I wish I could say this clip was me trolling, but this is me genuinely trying to do these challenges.
Ow. Ow.
After a few dozen tries, we did make it through that platforming challenge to the City of Tears, where we found the Nail Master to upgrade our nail, which would come in handy for our next boss fight, Soul Master.
Such a freaking cool fight.
This fight caused me quite a bit more trouble than the other bosses to this point, because this guy likes to teleport around the map and shoot magic at you.
Okay, this is a really bad start for us.
Once we downloaded his moveset though, he was pretty easy to take down in the end. That's kind of how all of the bosses in Hollow Knight go, including Pantheon 5 that we'll face later in the video. Once you learn the little tells that each boss gives before the move they make, you know exactly how to face them every time. And at least for me, it's extremely rewarding because you get to play through this game and see yourself progress. And you know that it's not luck when you face the bosses and beat them because you have their moveset downloaded.
Gosh dang it.
And as we did before, we took this guy down and got the achievement Illumination. I know I said before that Mantis Lords were my favorite boss, but this guy's my favorite boss too. His fight is just so much fun as he bounces around the arena and just like yells things at you. Brava!
Did we get him?
Honor, we got it.
Some of the things that we have left to mop up achievement-wise are pretty easy but tedious, like Connection, unlocking all of the stag stations in the game. We're finding all 42 of these freaking grubs that are scattered and hidden throughout the entire map. But the most tedious of all of the achievements is this one, the Grey Mourner. We have to carry a flower from her to her lover on the other side of the map without taking damage and without using fast travel. Team Cherry, I hate you. This entire thing took me literally like 12 hours to do. It was absolutely insane and horrendous, and I want to bash my head against a brick wall. But we did do it eventually. Oh, look, a bench. You don't mind if I heal, do ya? Do ya? I'm down to 1 mask. Perfect. With a lot of the upgrades and achievements out of the way, I felt comfortable enough to start progress towards the final boss. In order to get to the final boss, we have to take down the Watchers. The Watchers guard the path to the final boss in this game, and we have to slowly take them out one by one. The first one that we went for was Hera the Beast in Deep Nest, where we get kidnapped. When we come to, we find ourselves in the Beast's Den, which is a den full of enemies and booby traps that we have to find our way through to get to Hera the Beast, the first Watcher. It's also full of these enemies, which are the most annoying enemies in the entire game. Don't worry, they will cause us a lot of trouble in Phase 3. After wandering for a couple hours in this maze, we found Hera the Beast. Popping the Beast achievement and breaking our first seal towards the Hollow Knight. The second Dreamer that we went for is guarded by this boss named Umu. This version is actually pretty easy in the base game, but the upgraded version in Pantheon 5 actually causes us a lot of trouble later. Umu really just has 2 moves. There's this lightning that she sends after you that you need to dodge. And the second move, she just throws all of these lightning blasts all over the map and you just need to find a safe spot real fast. With all of the upgrades we've gotten to this point, it was pretty easy to just dodge and rely on our massive health.
Let's go, chat!
With Umu out of the way, we get our second Watcher, Manamon the Teacher, popping the Teacher achievement and our second seal.
She's a seal. Teacher.
With the other Watchers out of the way, the only one we had left is the Watcher, who's guarded by the Watcher Knights, possibly the most annoying boss in the entire game. Just like the Mantis Lords, the game sends 2 of these bosses at you at a time. But unlike the Mantis Lords, which sync their movements in rhythm,
Why did I go that way?
these roly-poly-olies operate completely independent of each other, making it way more difficult to get an opening to dodge or to attack. After a few attempts,
Great. No! That was good.
we got him.
Woo!
And with the roly-poly-olies out of the way, we get to the final Watcher. Popping the last Watcher achievement, Watcher, and undoing the last seal. With the Watchers out of the way, it finally unlocked the path to be able to take down my other favorite boss, the Hollow Knight. The Hollow Knight fight is extremely emotional. The music really seals in the emotions we're supposed to be feeling when we take this guy down. Christopher Larkin truly cooked with the soundtrack of this game. The pure impact of everything leading up to this fight in the game gave me goosebumps when I got here the first time. One of the things that makes this boss fight so emotional is that as we proceed into the second phase of this fight, the music changes, and the Hollow Knight is almost sacrificing himself, knowing what we came here to do, and almost seemingly allowing it to happen. Since we approached this fight after gathering as many of the power-ups and achievements as we could, this fight was one of the easiest in the game for me. Now on to phase 2. This is the list of bosses that are in Pantheon 5. There are a total of 43. All of these bosses are divided between the 4 Pantheons before that to help you prepare for Pantheon 5. The majority of these bosses we faced in the main playthrough of the game, but some of them are new and some of them are new takes on old bosses. I was able to take down the first 3 Pantheons without too much difficulty because they're pretty much just the basic bosses from the game. There are a couple new additions like this guy Sly right here. Here's the moment that we defeated Pantheon 1 and Pantheon 3. I don't know where the footage for Pantheon 2 went. But after you do the first 3 Pantheons, it unlocks the area where Pantheon 4 is located. Now, I didn't think Pantheon 4 was going to cause me too much trouble, but boy was I wrong. Now, just like the 3 Pantheons before, the majority of the bosses in Pantheon 4 are bosses that we have faced before, and they didn't cause me too much of a problem, until the final boss of P4, which is Pure Vessel, a much harder version of the Hollow Knight fight from the base game. After a couple weeks of practicing the Pure Vessel fight, I finally felt confident enough to try to take it down on stream, so I invited my brother over for an all-night stream session. And later that night, after about 6 hours worth of attempts, we did bring it down.
You beat him? You beat Pantheon 4?
P4 is over, dude.
Yo,
P4 is over, dude.
W.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, P4. Pantheon 4 down.
Dude, it's 2 weeks of time.
Yo.
2 weeks. The sheer stress. Like, Soul Shade, achievement, down, let's go. Now with Pantheon 1 through 4 out of the way, it is time to take on the real challenge, is Pantheon 5. Okay, so, these are... Pantheon 5 takes an entire 45 minutes to an hour because it is 43 bosses long, and they take bosses like this No Eyes fight and remove the floor completely. So they also make bosses way harder than they were in previous Pantheons. The first 35-ish bosses weren't really a problem for me in any of my plays because I had gotten so much practice with the bosses in Pantheon 1 through 4. The part where Pantheon 5 starts to get really difficult is towards the end with this Markoth fight. Because they completely removed the floor, this boss is extremely annoying. I don't even think the Markoth fight is that hard, it's just really, really annoying. Luckily, Team Cherry was nice enough to include a practice mode in the Hall of Gods to be able to practice individual bosses. And with enough training, we did get to the point where we could get through Markoth consistently. However, our next obstacle was this guy. Now, if you remember him from the very beginning of the game, as a nice guy, decided to try to save him from the clutches of the fearsome beast. Remember how I said I'd come to regret it later? One of the greatest mistakes of my entire life was saving this guy. If you do not save him in the base game, he dies, and he's not in Pantheon 5. Now, the problem that I have with him isn't even that he's that difficult, because I can beat him most of the time on his own. The problem is getting through Markoth, the previous boss, with enough masks down Great Prince Zode, because I inevitably take a lot of damage during this fight. Now, I wish I was exaggerating this point, but I spent literally dozens and dozens and dozens of hours practicing for the Radiance fight. Radiance is the final boss, the boss of Pantheon 5. Part of what makes Absolute Radiance so difficult is that she has 3 phases to her fight. She does double damage the entire time, and each of the 3 phases is a completely different style of fight. Phase 1 is on the ground just like this, dodging orbs and different swords and lasers that she throws at you. Now, Phase 2 is almost exactly the same except it takes away your platforms, and that completely changes the strategy from one of being aggressive to one of primarily dodging. The part that caused me the most trouble is called the climb. There's a mini phase in between phases 2 and 3 where you have to climb up these steps. And the further up you get, the more accurate the lasers get. And one of the things that's difficult about that is when a laser hits you, it causes you to fall and take more fall damage. If you can get through the climb successfully, you make it to phase 3, which is this platforming challenge where it's just 2 platforms and radiance throwing balls at you. Now, I can feel it already. I'm going to get a lot of hate comments of people saying I'm doing this wrong, because if you bounce off of radiance and go off screen, if the ball goes off screen, it just disappears. So that's how most people play this fight, but I'm not good enough at platforming to do that. No matter how much I tried, I just could not consistently do it without dying. Now, after spending dozens and dozens of hours on training Radiance and being able to take her down consistently, it was time to retrain on some of the harder bosses in Pantheon 5. Pure Vessel, Nightmare King Grim, Markoth, Great Prince Zote. It was finally time to schedule an all-night stream that would not end until Pantheon 5 went down. And, of course, we invited my brother Spencer. Tonight, we're beating P5.
Yeah.
It's happening. Somehow Mateo always misses the Elder Who fight. He doesn't believe me that I can beat Elder Who now. Okay, so what I've decided is I feel tired through the entire run up until Soul Tyrant, and then I'm like, adrenaline.
Yeah. Is tomorrow the
How long am I
third?
prepared to go with this? As long as it takes, Trash.
Exactly, that's what I said.
I'm going till it's gone. Spencer and I were ready to go as long as it took. But the thing that I didn't count on was just how tired and sloppy I would get towards the end. This was like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh no.
Spencer literally had to slap me awake multiple times during this stream. I am not used to staying awake this late, bro.
Twitter and made trailers and put it on their YouTube, I still wouldn't believe it.
After 9 hours, sometime around 5:30 in the morning, we finally got there. This might sound a little bit weird about a video game, but this legitimately might have been one of the hardest things I did in my entire life.
Yo! 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 You didn't believe Mateo?
I didn't
Yeah.
think we were gonna end up making it, bro. When we started that run, I was like, I'm going to bed after this.
Yeah.
I'm too tired. You had to slap me awake multiple times, bro. What support, Mateo? You were telling me all along I couldn't do it. This guy.
Yeah, let's scroll
And now
up.
you want to take...
Let's scroll up.
Yeah, scroll up like 3 messages. No way he's doing it.
Don't waste all the soul. Save it for the last phase. No way he's doing it.
Congratulations. Well done on achieving this great feat. You persevered and triumphed. We hope you enjoyed yourself in the world of Hollow Knight. We'll meet again soon on the road ahead. Pure completion. There we go. There's our 112%. Bro. Now on to phase 3. Look at our little knight friend. Dude, the beginning of this game is so good. Phase 3 is our Steel Soul and Speedrun achievements. Steel Soul is this game's deathless mode, and there are 2 parts to it. First, defeat the final boss on Steel Soul mode, and second, achieve 100% completion without dying. While this is a stressful replay through the game, I actually really appreciated getting to start the game over with the now perspective that I have finishing the game. Also, all the boss fights were a lot easier this time around. In my opinion, although the boss fights are easier, the playthrough itself is actually a lot harder because you have to have your brain engaged the entire time. Whereas with Pantheon 5, you can just fight and fight and fight and fight with your brain off for the first 35 bosses. I studied a map by Blankdud from Steam that showed the basic route to follow to make sure you can beat the game on time without dying. So, thanks to him for making that. The problem is that route wasn't made for people with skill issues as big as I have.
No,
so, I added a few
chat.
steps to get some extra power-ups.
Oh, fork, bro.
And died a few times along the way. If you remember, my platforming skills are not the best. Now, there is a way to cheese this. As you watch me die a few times, when you get down to one mask, you can actually quit to menu, and you will start the game again at your last bench. But that didn't feel honest to me.
That's how tests go.
I felt like I wanted to do this for real, my own way, without cheating. Alright, chat, I'm out. Peace. After dying to these guys 5 times, I finally broke, and I told myself that I would do it. I would do the save quit glitch. And for whatever reason, telling myself that I was okay with that
Chat, we did it.
relieved enough stress
Chat, we
that I
did
was
it.
actually able to bring them down the next time I faced them. And the Watcher Knights were the last real obstacle. We went and we took down each of the Dreamers again, and we're perfectly positioned to take down the Hollow Knight.
Chat.
Bro!
Congratulations, you played skillfully and proved you have a steel soul. Thank you for taking the time to explore and conquer the world we built. We'll meet again soon with a new challenge for you. Steel Soul, Speedrun 1, Speedrun 2. Now, the only thing left was to get 100% completion and then complete the game again. And if I'm being entirely honest, it was very anticlimactic. There wasn't a single time where we almost died or anything like that. We just powered all the way through. And of course, we invited Spencer over for another all-night stream. Stream ends when I 100% Steel Soul, and we got it pretty easily. Now, with all the upgrades, all the masks, all the power-ups in the game collected, we took down Hollow Knight for the last time. Story lead up to this.
Yeah.
Steel Heart, speed, completion. 101%, 13 hours.
Good luck
You too,
in class,
Atharva.
Atharva.
11 minutes, 24 seconds. Shoot, man.
Yeah, it was great. It was amazing. A lot of
It's a
fun.
bittersweet moment.
It is, yeah.